Alright, let's go ahead and get this party started. Just fiddling with a few settings. And we should be good to go. Oh, let me make sure I get the flight ring on. There we go. A little bit of chaos here today. Trying to go ahead and make everything work and have everything fall into place. But it looks like it is, so I think we can start. There we go. Alright. I appreciate you all for waiting for a little bit. We got ourselves another Simulation Sunday community spotlight live stream. So it's been a pretty good Sunday over here. We're going to check out some styles, and then I would like to go ahead and run the new bounty a bunch of times as well. You know, because I know we still have our triple marks week, and I think it's a really good opportunity for people that are trying to get their Mogo sprouts. So that'll be something that'll be really nice. I'm sure I'll grind it out a few times on this character. And maybe I'll jump on my other characters. Ooh, it looks like we have somebody named Problem Child. Let's take a quick look at them. I went ahead and I kind of redid my Red Lantern Guy Gardner, and it looks like some people have as well. So let's take a look. I mean, it's not bad. I'm not crazy about how the tears are like clipping through the head, but I kind of get it. But I mean, we have the boots now. We got the belt now. The belt is for the Green Lantern Guy Gardner, but you can make it work like really well. But I went ahead. I made this Gray Lantern Guy Gardner. I wanted to use a battery, and I was making some Guy Gardner styles that should go out in either a video, or I'll probably just do like a big short or something. I still haven't decided how I'm going to format it and put it out. But we'll go ahead and I mean, you guys will see the results of that at some point pretty soon. And then we have Goddess Diane. I think I have seen them before. Okay, I have seen that style before. That's not the one I was looking for though. No, Princess Diane. No, that wasn't the right one. No wonder why. It was Goddess Diane. So, this one, I think I saw this one a time or two ago. This is like the witch marked one, so that was actually pretty nice. Let me go ahead and he's showing off his, so I'm going to show off mine. There we go. So I use a lot of the same pieces, but I definitely did change the color on the chest island thing and things. I went up to the NPC to make sure that all the colors were like pretty close and correct. So this will be one of the styles that'll go out in the Guy Gardner video. It'll be an improved Red Lantern. So yeah, so there you go. I have Kyle Rayner asking for a showcase of his style. We're gonna take a look, Kyle, but I hope it's a different style. I always like to see new styles. I don't like to rehash a lot of old styles that we've already seen. Okay, so he's got like the indigo. I don't think I have seen this one before. It's all right. I'm not crazy about how the mask is clipping with the head style. I don't know. I'm not too crazy about that. And I'd probably use the reborn shoulders. I feel like the emblem could be a little bigger. But yeah, not too crazy about how the helmet clips into the face style, but it's not terrible. But yeah, let's see here. We have somebody doing Swamp Thing. It looks like they look like they're like a new character. Let's take a quick look. Alrighty, Chosen says hello. Hello, Chosen. And Peyton says, hey, Iconic, can you rate me? I'm Problem Child. Sure. I went ahead, I did take a sneak peek at you earlier. I'm not crazy about how the head style clips into the like the tear droplet things. I'm not too crazy about that, and I also feel like the I feel like the eyes need to actually like glow or something. Um, I know we have the new boots. I think the new boots would, the OP boots would probably be a better option for the style. Um, you know, so I think that'd be something that I would look at changing out the head style or using a different skin. And I would use different boots. Hand styles, the hand style's okay. I use this one because I like the two lines on there. I feel like it's represents a little more of what the actual NPC uses. What else have I said? Kyle Rayner says, "Is there a way to make a Gray Lantern Kyle Rayner?" I would use your imagination. What do you think? What do you think Kyle Rayner would look like if he was a Gray Lantern? I think his outfit would be very dramatic. If you look at all of his different lantern styles that he has in the comics and how he changes with the different rings, his styles are very dramatic. And they all really pertain to each emotion, but in a very dramatic way. So that's kind of what I would look at. Like his Red Lantern style has him literally having like plasma and fury coming up from the top of his head. It's supposed to like show off like blind rage because his eyes are covered, like the helmet covers his eyes, and he's just has plasma coming out of his mouth and at the top of his helmet, and he's in a very animalistic state, but it almost looks like he's wearing like ancient Roman armor, kind of in a sense. So it's a very barbaric, rage-filled style. So I find like he represents the different emotions in a different way, but he's very dramatic and it's very showy, I guess, if you want to think of it that way. So if you think of Kyle Rayner, it's going to be over the top, very sorrowful, sort of a very. The suit's going to be very, have a very sorrowful, dramatic effect and look to it. So however you interpret that, that's how I would go with. Chosen says, should I go with the style based on Invincible or Omni-Man? Just curious is why I'm asking. It's whichever one you like better. I honestly like the Viltrumites better. So I kind of like their styles. I like the militaristic feel to it. But you can go with Invincible if you like. His style's alright, but I'll pick a Viltrumite style over his any day. But then again, I'm villain side, so I'm always going to be kind of drawn to the villain characters over the heroic characters. So it's just kind of, how I am. So it's whatever you prefer, whatever you like. PPZ says, "Hey man, hey, what's up? Welcome to chat." And then we have the Signal over here. I believe that's like one of those kind of like Bat Family characters in the comics. Now he should be all the way up at the top here. There we go. So there you go. I'm guessing that's a take on the character. I mean, to be honest, I never really got too into it with the Bat Family characters. I felt like they kept on making one after another, and then it was like Batman Family, France, or Batman Family Europe, or they definitely went. I don't know. They kept on treating it as if they were making different divisions of like the Teen Titans, but for the Bat Family. And then I kind of stopped paying attention after a little while there. Alright. We have Boy Atomic here. So this is like a Black Lantern like Superboy, it kind of looks like. I actually took a screenshot of Black Lantern Superboy in the Blackest Night raid because I actually hadn't, actually seen what he, like actually looked like, the NPC. And then I was able to finally see it, and I'm like, okay, it's not terrible. It was actually pretty good. This Damien's alright. He just needs the new belt there. And probably like a slightly different chest style. Alright, let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. I thought I had somebody... I mean, we got Mark over here. Yeah, so they got Mark all bloodied up, battle damaged. This is definitely like after the Conquest fight. The only thing I would do to make differently on this is if I were them, it's funny, but I would use the Two-Face inspired mask. There you go. That's what I would use. You could put the red material on it if you really want to. But that's kind of what I think of when I see that face style. I hit the wrong armory again. I meant to hit... And since I'm in combat, it won't... trying to get my sorrowful Guy Gardner back. But when you stand next to here, you're automatically in combat. There we go. Let's see if I can get... Alright. Get the ring back on. Alright. Good to go. Yeah, I want to get my sorrowful Guy Gardner back on. We got Clinton Francis. Let's take a look. So he's kind of got like the same like scarred eye going on, the evil eye. I really like that face style. I try to use it whenever I can, but it doesn't always work with, with all the styles. And what's a pity is that there are some styles that don't even, like head styles that don't even allow, a face style. I've kind of made requests for them to add certain face styles or make certain head styles work, with face styles. Like I think a good example that I've actually made was I've asked to use the aberrant head style to be able to use a face style with that, because I've wanted to use the Two-Face inspired mask, but see, it won't use it. So the big eye that I just showed you, the big eye for like the invincible one, I would have wanted to use that with this head style. It'd be like a really like weird, creepy, with the big giant eye, like clone looking experiment thing. I thought that would have looked cool, but it just hasn't happened yet, so they might still be working on something like that, or they got something else that they're, having to work on. But, I have kind of put that in there like a nudge, like, hey, this would be nice if that head style could take face styles, right? Alrighty, we got Ion Kyle. Let me see him. Let me try to catch up with chat here. Azur says, so I have a question. How do you get the Gray Lantern emblem? You get the Gray Lantern emblem in Mournful Mogo. It's on the vendor. I believe it's like 50 marks or 100 marks, something like that. That's where you get it. Aiden, welcome. Hello. Welcome to chat. Azur says, also, are villain characters making a comeback? It doesn't really matter if you are a hero or a villain, because now you can invite villains or heroes to your league, because leagues are now cross-faction. Just about anybody can run in any content, so content is just about all shared factions. The broker shared factions. Just about everything is carried over between both factions. Um, so, and I think. I think if you could join groups with other factions, so if you're like an open world and you need a healer or something, or you need a tank, you can group up with the other faction. So cross faction grouping. So I wouldn't really say like heroes or villains are making a comeback, because let's be honest, heroes like outpopulate villains by, I don't know, by like 3 times or something like that. But it doesn't really matter at this point, because both can run with each other. I think the next thing that they could do is do like a shared LFG. I think that would be the logical next step. Aiden says iconic is PvP. Aiden says iconic simulation is PvP number 1. Oh lord, no, I am not number 1 at PvP. Oh no 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 no. Not even close. No. I just never really PvP'd a lot. Like if you see like here, I'll go to like League roster. You'll see like my PvP CR. I'll just go by main CR. So yeah, my PvP CR is 86, and that's where it stayed. I just didn't want to grind for the gear. I just wasn't very good at PvP. I'm like, alright, like I can, use, some things that are like OP and broken to kind of get an advantage here and there. But otherwise, I kind of suck at PvP. It's no secret, and I don't try to keep anything like that a secret. It's kind of pointless. But it's just not something for me. But I get that people like it and they enjoy it. So, I'm not going to diss nobody for that, right? But yeah, it's just not for me. It's just not my thing. But I can understand why people like it. PPZ says my battle damage mark uses two-faced. Two-faced. Yeah. Because of like the bulging eye. Yeah. And then DOO123 says, where is this? This is on the US server. The USPS PC server. This is near Little Bohemia Police Station, or Police Department. And then we have Hero of Time. Let's take a quick look. I'm gonna look at Grant Gardner in a second, because he usually does like Guy Gardner, centric styles. And I'm kind of curious to see what he went ahead and put together. Since, it's basically his day, you got freaking Guy Gardner stuff popping out of the woodwork. Okay, I kind of like this. This is kind of a wicked Guy Gardner style. Look at that. I mean, it's definitely original. I kind of like the feel of it. Very nice. Alright, getting it out here. We'll talk later. Alrighty. And then we've got Midnight over here. Let's take a look at him since he's lining up here. Let's take a look. So this kind of looks like a Sith style, if anything. Yeah, with the chest styles that have like the high shoulders, I do kind of like the absolute Kryptonian cape. I think that's really growing on me, because it works well with styles that have those high shoulders that usually clear capes and make them look awkward when they hang out. So I do kind of like that. We have Daniela. Let me take a quick, or I'll look at Calendar here real quick. So I don't know who this character is, but this does look nice. Yeah, this does look pretty nice. I think I did see him post this on the Discord. I still don't know the character, but I know it comes relatively close to the character. Very nice. We have Daniela Moonstar. I think this is the person I'm looking for. Yeah, so she's like a female Invincible. Maybe she's trying to kind of look like his daughter. That is, you know, in the future of the comics, or the future of the show, basically. If they keep getting renewed. I mean, the show's been knocking it out of the park. I can't wait for the next episode, and I was kind of glad that they did kind of do an original story within Invincible. It kind of gives it like a nice, you know, like a nice, you know, fresh air to it. So I did like that they kind of had their own original story within the last episode that they just had. It's kind of cool, and it looks like it'll kind of tie up a bunch of things together. We have Sindel Ray, and you're welcome, Mark. By the way, I saw your tell. Thank you. We got Sindel Ray. So I kind of like the armored look on this. I really like. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I think sometimes like the heavy, clunky armor, if done right, looks good on female characters. If the proportions are right and you know, has the right pieces, I think it can look good. So I actually kind of like that when I see it's, you know, it's clunky, but in the right ways. It's not like awkward, because I think that's what people don't like, is when it's awkward. We have Superior Octavius. Calidar said that style is from the anime Sentenced to be a Hero. So yeah, I've never heard of that before, but I know it looks very close to what it's supposed to. And that's all that matters, that it comes very close to that. But yeah, that Superior Octavius, like, man, if we had gotten a multi-arm style, that's an upgrade from what he's wearing, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Hopefully with Crib being like one of the new big bads of the new stories, it would be cool since she's like Sinestro Corps. Hopefully this is a way for the devs to give us an actual Sinestro Corps chest style. That'd be really cool. I think it's like long past due that we actually got a legit Sinestro Corps chest style, because like we kind of got shafted on the last one that we got. So it would be kind of nice to get a legit one. So I'm kind of excited and hoping that that's something that we get, because that'd be freaking awesome. This one's kind of nice. I kind of like it has almost like a starry effect to the face, but it's like moving upwards. So I kind of like that. I'm gonna clip it, because I like how even the black on the boots lines up with like the black on like the chest and the legs. So you could tell that there's clearly like an attention to detail there. So, and then we have Kakaroto here, if I can find him. He has to be down a little further. We got a Banshee character. I'll look at them in a second. Okay, so this is supposed to be like Ultra Instinct Goku. I kind of like the accessory with it. It's not terrible. I don't know if I'd probably use something different, use a different material for the hair or something. But otherwise, I mean, this isn't terrible. Let's look at the Banshee character, see how good they look. The name might look like it's like a new character, maybe. Yeah, they don't even look anything like Banshee. Maybe they mean like the Banshee character from like the X-Men or something. Because I think they do have a character called like Banshee or something like that. So I could be wrong, but maybe that's what they mean. We got Alexander Luthor. Let me take a quick look there. And then Winter Corsair says, need hair gardener. We do have Guy Gardner's hair in the game. Let me look here on the events. It was an event reward, so you had to get it from the event. Which one was it? Yeah. So it was from the Superman Day 2025, I want to say. Yeah. So you got the House of L jacket, and then you got the bowl cut. So, or was it this year? I don't know. No, it had to be last year. Yeah, because I did the video last year. I'm trying... It seems like everything rolls into one for me, so I have to kind of try to think back. Yeah, so this was like a year ago almost, where we got the bowl cut. So yeah, we already got it. The sad thing is that, you know, it's the FOMO, limited time events. You know, if you're not here for it, you unfortunately aren't able to get it. I don't know what to say other than, you know, just try to participate whenever you can and be here, so that you do not miss out. Otherwise, you will miss out. I'm not crazy about that, but, you know, I understand what they're trying to do. It's not the greatest. Hopefully they do bring those things back so that you are able to get things like that. So we got Overlord King over here. And let's see who else. Emerald Splash, that looks like a very interesting style from the back. Let me take a quick look. Oh boy, is that quite an eyesore. You could definitely tell they're a new character. they're just figuring out that that menu there. And then we have Dreadbearer. So their own Sinestro that they got going on there. I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to do like the high cut hair Sinestro. If only the head style cut in cleaner, that'd be kind of cool, but yeah. I mean, I do agree we do need a hairstyle that cuts up a little more on the side. But I mean, it's not terrible. It's alright. I'd probably use a different aura to it, but otherwise it's not too bad. And then I'd probably add like a black, like the black to the in between the silver thing, so it looks like it's part of the suit, not overlapping it. Because it's supposed to look like bands that are attached to the suit, not like a whole clump of a belt. Then we have the Semtex. If I can find it, he should be like super close. There we go. So this is supposed to be like a Rorschach style there. I always thought that material was best for him. Like that was like the obvious material. The only thing I'd probably do better for at least the face would be the investigator face style. You can get that with the source marks. I believe you can get with source marks, so you wouldn't have to spend like any real money on that. And then we have Danku over here. I mean, I kind of like this. They have kind of like a blue and red lantern style kind of going together. I kind of like that. And the aura has like two different colors. So that's very nice. I mean, I like a little more of a substantial aura, but I get it. Like that's definitely not an option I explore a lot with the Firefly aura, the enhanced Firefly aura, which I assume that is. I don't really explore that much. But it's not bad. I was kind of wondering whether it actually was like a red blue lantern style or not. And then we have friendly neighbor. So it's like, I don't know, maybe it's like a stealth Spider-Man or like a Hydra Spider-Man. That's what I'm kind of getting from it. Either way, I like it. It's very techy. Very nice. Alright, I think I'll look at one or two more, and then I think I'm going to dip down to another phase. Alright, so we've got Overlord King over here. So I kind of like the energy mask. That's kind of cool. And if I'm not mistaken, that's a Lex Luthor material, so it has like the little hex like energy field on there. Yeah, that's not bad. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I kind of like that. I like the idea there. It's not too bad. Yeah, very nice. And then we have Rosie Wilson over here. It looks like a Polaris style going on there. Alright, I'm gonna flip to another phase. PPC says, FOMO is crazy. Imagine coming back to the game and missing meta stuff plus styles to make your tune more accurate. Yeah. It's insane, but it looks like the devs, I don't know, but it definitely looks like the devs are like, hey, if you don't miss things in the game, you will be rewarded. Like, for the people that stick around and stay with the game, you'll be rewarded. You know, and if you're not with the game, you know, you will not be rewarded for the time that you were gone. You know, and it is very unforgiving. I think it should be a little more forgiving, and there should be some sort of a route for them to get those items. But should there be a little bit of work involved? Yes. I think that's a good compromise there. But I don't know. Maybe they may have something like that down the road. I have no knowledge of anything like that. And if I did, I probably couldn't talk about it anyway, but I think it would be nice if they did do something like that. So we'll just have to go ahead and wait and see what comes up, right? Calendar says Invincible Omni-Man supposed to be light blue and red. The anime got it wrong, and everybody basic cosplay from the anime. Well, here's how I see it. I don't know if it actually was light blue. I think it was supposed to give the white kind of like, how do I say it? I think it was supposed to give the white color a little bit of a contrast, so it didn't look like a pale, just boring white color. So they added a bit of like a blue shadow, so it gives it a little more contrast. It doesn't mean that his suit is red and blue in the comics. I think they did that for contrast, for color contrast's sake. That's what I think they did it, because think of it this way, then why in the anime do they do it strictly white and red? And you gotta understand, the show is being made by the guy who made the comics and decided on all the colors for that stuff as well. So if you look at it from that aspect, that whole thing kind of falls apart. Like, he knew what colors he wanted, he chose whatever he wanted there, and now in the show he's reaffirming his decisions and keeping what he wants and what he doesn't want in there. So so for me, that tells me that his suit was red and white, but he added a touch of blue on the shadowing to give a little bit of contrast, kind of like how in this game Lantern, look at the NPCs, like look at Atrocitus, look at Saint Walker, look at Kyle Rayner, look at Guy Gardner. A lot of the dark areas of their suit are either going to be like a dark blue or like a dark gray. like a dark grayish black or a dark blue. Dark blue, more or less, like in the older era of the game, it was dark blue. Now it looks like they're going more to like dark grays. But in the comics, their suits are their color and then a dark black. But in this game, they kind of lighten that tone a little bit. They make it either gray or they make it a little blue, so there's a little more contrast. It's not a very flat color when you look at it. You got to give it a little bit of body, so you have to change the shades a little bit to give it that contrast. To Ryan Otley, who confirmed that the light blue shade was often mistaken for white due to shading and lighting. Well, okay, maybe that was true. Maybe that was true, and maybe I was wrong, right? Okay, but at the end of the day, everybody's gonna remember it as red and white because it got adapted to being red and white. So at the end of the day, does it really matter? So you could be right and I could be right. Where, yes, it was red and blue in the comics, and then they changed it to red and white. Because the author of the actual series decided he wanted to change it to red and white. Yeah. So it's kind of like how I believe in the Dragon Ball Super anime, Goku never did Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken. That was something that was strictly in the in the anime, and in the manga, I think they both trained to get to Super Saiyan Blue evolution. So you know, they both had Super Saiyan Blue evolution, and that's how they fought in the Tournament of Power. Versus Goku using Kaioken. So there are things that are going to carry over from the anime, from the manga into the anime, and sometimes they don't. And I hate to say it, but what carries, what becomes the most important thing, or what becomes the defining image for that character, is what becomes popular and what is the most recognizable. So you are right, and I'm right. But what are people going to remember? Are they going to remember the comics, or are they going to remember the TV show? They remember the comics, but I think the TV show will take over from that at some point, and people will very much only know the TV show, and then the TV show will be a way for people to get back into the comics as it does right now. So yeah, and for me, it's kind of crazy that it's like the artist, you know, has a different, you know, opinion, whatever, and the author let him kind of run with that. But at the end of the day, the author decided, I'd rather want it this way. I want the colors to be this way, and he changed his mind, and he, you know, did his decision, and put it into the anime like that. So you know, so it's all very confusing why they would have it like that in the manga, so to say, and then he comes around, he's like, actually in the show we're doing white and red. PPZ says, what do you think of the new styles having baked in dark textures? I think I don't mind if it gives the styles more detail. I don't mind, but there's definitely, like, this style is a very good good example for this. I have to use two different navy blues to go ahead and get this color, because the chest style is a lot lighter in its tones and textures than these leg styles here, than this leg style. So I have to actually go ahead and I have to make the top navy blue darker, so I have to use two different colors for it, but I have to make this one darker to match this one. So it's a problem for older styles when they're combined with new styles, because then one is going to be vastly brighter and the other one's going to be vastly darker. That's where you're going to have kind of a disconnect, and that's why I try to not use, like, I use old styles from here, you know, here and there, but I'm not going out of my way to use something if there's a newer contemporary that looks, you know, 90%, you know, as good as the old style and still kind of has the appearance. Like, I like the overall style to have a nice aesthetic to it, and if there's like varying versions of like the same color at different, like, you know, like different color brightness, then it's kind of a problem. And then the whole outfit kind of just looks mismatched, like it wasn't meant to be. And for me, that's kind of like a turn off. So I try to make sure that all the tones and everything look somewhat around the same color, so it's not, you know, like terribly off. You know, now if I have the luxury of you know, having two color slots, kind of like I do with the Guy Gardner styles, then I'll kind of go out of my way to do the two colors, because for me it's a big enough deal, like it's a big enough reason to, so I do it. Then we have Lanterna Verde for 52. So we got ourselves, oh, this is gonna bug me. I know who this is. Anyway, yeah. Special beam cannon to the chest, and I can't even remember who this guy is. Anyway, this is Goku's older brother. Raditz. Yeah, Raditz. So, very nice. Yeah, the long hair looks very nice for this. Yeah, that's another good style you could do with that hairstyle. Yeah, Raditz. Yeah. All right, and then we've got a very interesting looking Nappa here. Definitely very unorthodox there. All right, and then we've got Starro Puppet. That's kind of funny. I kind of like that. Yeah, this Aro was something else back in the day. People didn't know what to do with that, but I thought it was funny. And then they had the Starotech one, which is like it was like two auras that were stacked on top of each other. I wish they kind of made a few more of those. But yeah. And I heard that new Spider-Man movie is going to be pretty nice. Basically, he's going to be getting his final like arc into becoming like a fully matured like Spider-Man, where he'll have his own organic webs. So that looks like it's going to be kind of cool. We have two different Boos here. We have Super Boo and then Super Boo. Let me look at the first one here. I found that the best way to use a head style is to literally just black out the eyes. That's what you really need to do with that. So this is like his fusion, and let's look at the other one. Alright, this guy's a little bit shorter, but basically kind of like the same idea. But yeah, the eyes need to be blacked out a little bit. It just has better contrast. Because, you know, for Boo, he's actually supposed to have like very dark eyes with like pupils showing, and you don't really get that because, you know, it doesn't have two different parts in the eyes for you to be doing that. So it's just better to black it out. Divine, okay, that's who I'm looking for. Divine Ichachi. Looks like a fire character of some sort. It would be good, like a lava fire character with like the black aura, black murky aura. Okay, and then we've got Captain Water. We got Cheetah over here. Let's take a quick look at him. So he's kind of got like an armored knight. Very nice. I like that. It's very uniform. Looks like something I'd see out of like one of the Souls games. Very nice. who was I looking at here? It was Captain Water. That's who I was looking for. There he is. Very interesting style going on there. Kind of like an elvish, like Atlantean style. Very nice. Alrighty. Calendar says so many Dragon Ball styles today. Yeah, quite a few of them today, actually. Yeah. Yeah, very nice. And I'm guessing Kalad is you over here. It is fairly obvious. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen that from you before. Alright. So I think we're going to go ahead and go out to Frozen Mogo and go ahead and check out that new bounty and grind out some marks. If you all need it, go ahead and join me. I forget, I think this is my DPS loadout. I can give it a shot. Here, let me go to my Royal Palace base here real quick. Let me run into this base here real quick so I can, because I want to keep the appearance, but I don't want to do an DPS stance. I want to actually be able to survive a lot of it. Oh yeah, and I'm using the new canisters to encapsulate my armories. Activate appearance. Oh, it's not ready yet. Okay. Activate appearance. Alright. Now I'm good. Now I can head out. I'll get these guys later, or I'll finish them later. Let's see. Let me just pick them up so I don't forget about them. But I'll just focus on. I like how in each of the different map areas they actually have like a mission that you can do, like the weeklies. I'll go ahead and reset him. All right, let's do this. And if you're wondering, I am in Phase 6. If you need an invite, let me know. Oh, I didn't know that she went ahead and turned them into Gray Lanterns. Or at least she hasn't turned her yet. Can I interact with them? No, I can't. Oh, she didn't turn her. So it's like just a stun kinda, where she keeps them like that for a little bit, puts them out of commission for a little bit. I haven't had any of those orbitals go off. Oh, there they are. I knew it was too good to be true. Sorrow meter is at max, doesn't matter. already gray. They should have a feat for that. Finish the boss while totally already gray. This is kind of like having the Black Lantern ring on. Or the Book of the Black, basically. The book of the pages of Book of the Black. They should have it kind of like the madness in Shattered Gotham, where the more gray you have, the more damage you deal. That'd be kind of cool. They should finish her. There we go. Still gray on me. Even with her defeated. There we go. A lot of people when this first started, they thought they had to stand in the field. And to kind of fully remove the gray, you don't have to do that. Rally point. It gets us like kind of halfway there. Last stream I kind of figured that out. Let me read some questions here. On my Indigo Lantern, Kyle, I'm using the Reborn Shoulders right now, and I'm going to get the Magic Champion so it won't clip. Yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. Yep. The Reborn Shoulders will just give you a much bigger emblem to work with. That looks like a Century style if I ever saw one. Alright. Okay, I'm going to switch to another phase. Let's try to go to an emptier phase. Since it was only a small two of us, so yeah, phase 7. There you go. If you need it, phase 7. Since it was only 2 of us, you know, I can basically solo this, no problem. Even with the Sorrow fully turned up. That didn't really matter too much. Lock on. Alright. Bring everything out. Go ham on her. Just look at that chunk her health. I'm trying to keep her close to the sigil so I can get this might buff. But she likes to run away. Orbitals are out apparently. That's what happens when I see myself get shot across the map. Like that. I like that the supercharge generator at least launches me back. Because that's kind of ridiculous. Lilith says, at least they don't don't one-shot you like in the solo this orbital does. Yeah, that is kind of annoying. Like, if you saw my video, it's like I even said I got one-shot by them like 1 or 2 times. And that was just kind of with me kind of just being lazy because I didn't want to move like super quick or roll. It's like I hate rolling if I don't really have to. And I feel like, you know, that stuff's kind of just to stop you from burning. And I don't like doing that. So, that's kind of just my willful defiance right there. I'm like, no. I'm just going to power straight on through it. Yeah, I still got to buy the reg suit. I got to run it on my different characters. So that's what this you know, this will help at least for this character. So I need like 60 marks across on each character. I got to have 60 marks. So this guy will have his 60 marks, and I'll run and do my other guys, and they'll get their 60 marks each. And then I'll have them buy all the styles individually, and then I'll buy them all together, like a style, unlock them on Iconic. Lilith says, that's why we play villain side, because we don't like rules. No, I don't like, I don't like things that are like meant to keep you busy and stop you from burning. I hate being taken off the offensive to do like meaningless defensive. Like, I don't want to do that. So, like, I will do everything in my power to not do mechanics that I feel like that are pointless, that are there to kind of just stop you from just, you know, burning. You know, especially if I'm like in a solo. Like, no. Like, oh, okay, I just need to move quicker, but I'm not gonna block. I'm not gonna go ahead and, you know, roll. No, I hate rolling if I don't have to, because rolling's kind of cumbersome. And it, you know, so I'm like, no. Like, if it's like, you know, higher level content, you're in a raid or something and actually has difficulty, then like, yeah, I totally get it. Like, it's supposed to be that way. But, you know, like solo, nah. No, I'm supposed to own that. That's how I kind of see it. Especially with, you know, like being able to, you know, survive raids as a battle tank. Nah, I should be able to own that. So whatever I can do to negate it or get around it, I will do that. So like with this, I'm using my supercharge generator to lunge me back when they knock me, when the orbitals knock me back. That's all I'll do, and it'll get me right back to the fight. Just like with the solo, I use zoom and a few other things to speed up my walking. Sure, I'm going to do that. Whatever's in the game that I can use, I'm going to use it to my advantage to make sure that I can, you know, negate those mechanics. You know, as long as it's part of the proper, you know, gameplay, you know what I mean? Like, we're not doing anything shady. We're not doing that. Man, there's a lot of fields on the ground. How many people does it think is here? Alright, she's down for the count. Let me see here. Tiny Lil says, just skipping the ad in that cell like you did speed up for me 5 minutes faster by skipping the ads. Oh, and somebody did tell me on the Discord that you can skip the 2 crystals, you know, with those lanterns. Lilith, you can skip those first 2 crystals after you talk to Brother Worth. You can skip those 2. I didn't know that. So you can save yourself, I don't know, like another 20 seconds with that. Dalit said, I used to have a ton of OG names. I'm pretty sure I lost them during the one name relief, so I'm probably never coming back to do so, but it was good times for sure. I mean, I don't know. I get OG names because I actually want to use them, and so I use them. Like one of my characters is named Plasmic, another one's Iconic, you know, so, and people are like, oh, how much you want to sell this for? I'm like, no, I'm not going to sell them. I got them because I wanted to use them, not because I wanted to hawk them on a name selling market. That's not why I got them, you know. So it's like, no, I didn't get them to sell them. You know, I don't even really agree with like the name market. I don't even think something like that should really exist. I feel like that just holds names back from people that would actually use them. But you know, it's not it's not my game. I'm not the devs. I'm not in charge of it. But if it were up to me, I would have gotten rid of that years ago from people being able to do that. But that's just me. That's my opinion. But I just don't think that should have been a thing. But yeah, but yeah. So when I got those names from the reclaim, you know, oh, how much you want to sell? No, I'm not selling them. I got them because I wanted them, like not because I wanted to resell them. So that's how I kind of feel about it, and you know, it's all about leading by example. And my example is I don't do that. I don't, you know, I'm not selling names like that. But yeah, so I think this is a good place to leave off. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me today. I'll take a few more questions and then I'll answer them, and then I think we can end the stream. All right. So let me see here. Calendar said they have the name Joe Chill. PPZ says also got the name Textures, and Delete says, I remember you from years ago in the Hall of Doom. I was Puppet if you ever seen me. Maybe I did. There were a lot of people back in the day. I got a lot of screenshots and things. There are definitely people that I'll know by name, but there's also a lot of people I'll know by their style. And since I'm a very visual person as well. And so, and so for me, I'll have people that'll come back that'll tell me, hey, my name was so and so, and and I may have known them vaguely. I didn't maybe run in their groups or whatever, but I kind of knew them as like an acquaintance. And they'd come back and they'd tell me, hey, you're the only name I recognize on my friends list. Of anybody that's here. I'm glad to see you're still with the game, blah blah blah. Like, it's cool to see somebody that I actually know, and before then I never really spoke with them, or they never really spoke with me. But it's kind of cool when I see people that come back, and even if you weren't really actual friends before, they come back and it's like you were friends, because it's a little taste of the past that resurfaces. You know what I mean? Yeah, I made a killing selling names back then. Yeah, I'm sure you did, and that's it. People do what works, and so selling names works. I'm just not crazy about the practice, but it works for a lot of people. But I think they really need to exercise caution with how they're selling the names and what they're selling the names for, because that's what can get you banned, and then you can't be in the game anymore because you got banned because you broke the TOS. So that's another thing that people gotta kind of think about and be smart about, and don't do things like that if it's going to endanger your account. I've seen people that had a lot of things on their account, and they had almost all these different special things, and then they did something like that, and then they ended up getting canned and lost their access to the game, lost access to their account. They can't play anymore. And they had to make a new account from scratch, and they have nothing on it, and they're trying to build it up. So I would be very careful with things like that. Kyle Rayner asked, what weapon would you match the Sorrow emotion for a Gray Lantern Kyle Rayner? He likes a lot of one-handed things. So whatever's one-handed that makes sense. I'd probably use like some of the Wicked weapons, maybe with like the Void on it. Like I use a Void on this on my back style here. Obviously, like, I didn't bother to change out for the weapon, so you could choose whatever you want. Whatever makes sense to you, I would use it. Unseen says, how did you get your skin color like that with the new skin? Is it attached to another color palette? How'd you get the skin color like that with the new skin? You're not talking about this skin that I'm wearing right now, or are you talking about the one that I use for like Goku, the dreadful Wraith skin? Basically, so let me put it this way. So basically, for the Wraith skin, let me just put the Wraith skin on, because I assume this is what you're talking about. So let's say that I have this turned all the way up, right? And usually I copy this, turn the face to the side, go like this, and then I wait till they match each other. See? And wait for him to turn back around, and I go like right about there. So about the halfway point. You get a good skin tone that matches. Look at that first try. So that's how I kind of determine how to match. Yeah, how to match that. That's how I kind of do that one. But otherwise for this style, I just basically take so I take it about almost 3/4 of the way down from the regular. Because if you do it like this and put the human skin on, it looks fine. But since this one is like a glowing skin, it's going to be way too bright. So you got to turn it 3/4 of the way down. So that's how I kind of choose for that. PBZ says, I never bought names before, never really had interest in it. I thought it was kind of just predatory. People kept names, and then they would ask like egregious amounts for them. Like, I could kind of see if they're being, being like reasonable, but a lot of people aren't going to be reasonable. They're going to be as worse as possible. A lot of times that I've seen where they will, be as greedy as possible and try to get the highest amount and kind of bargain over it, or they'll say, oh, well, I'm going to hold on to the name until I get the price that I want. And it's like, okay, you're holding on to a name that a new player could have, that they'd like, or of a character that they really like. So to me, it's kind of just like, what are we doing here? Caladur says, if he caught banned for selling stuff, say he got banned for telling the truth. Oh, if he, I know who you're talking about. No, no, they wouldn't ban him unless he had, unless they had a lot of proof. And let's just say he made it very easy for them to gather that proof, from what I've seen. From what I've seen in different videos and things. So, he kind of got what was coming to him. PPC says, I used the Banshee skin for my Sabretooth. Yeah, I think it's a nice skin that incorporates like the emissive eyes, without wearing the emissive eyes. So for like my Sinestro style, I would usually use the Sanguine Ritual skin, which is still really good for Sinestro. I would still use it on his style. But I wanted to try out the other one instead, and it turned out really good. So, you can't go wrong. Dalit says, I sold the OG Plasmic for 600 once. Yeah, I mean, you can do that, but it does kind of put you at risk. But, it is what it is, People kind of got to make those decisions themselves. And, so, I get it, but I would always be very cautious about things like that, because you kind of do put your account at risk with things like that. So I don't recommend things like that. I recommend that that you don't really do things like that, because then you can't get that account back once it's over. So, okie doke. Well, I appreciate y'all for hanging out. And I will see you all in the next one. So hopefully I get that. Let me think here. Guy Gardner went out pretty soon. Maybe either today or tomorrow. I'll try to do the community short, and I already have some shorts from the Legion of Doom just automatically rolling out for the next 2 to 3 days. I think you guys have already seen 2 of them. You should have 2 more that'll drop pretty soon. So, laters.